finally find out that it was King Von who died, how'd you feel?
I was like, damn. If Brian did that stupid last night, his still would have been alive. That's how I was. But I was like, I ain't no the type person I am. Like, I'm a humble person. I ain't no disrespect to like his mama saying him like that.
It's past fair. It's kind of crazy, right? Like, yeah. It's the same scenario. And Von is like the same type of artist, same type of guy. Like, it's just saying God must have had a plan, and the plan got to be probably bigger than we all know it is, because it's crazy how that scenario kind of.
And my girl woke me up and told me like, "Yo, homie just got killed." I was like, "What you mean? Who?" She was like, "Von." And then I got on the internet and I seen everything. I was just like, damn. I was f***ed up.
Compare this to the Tupac situation, where Pac went and jumped on somebody on a crib that he should have put his hands on, and shortly afterwards they go back and they end up killing him. Do you see comparisons to your situation and what happened to Pac?
Yeah, not 100%, but peace.
Ever since King Von got taken out, the street's been on fire, and his crew ain't slowed down for a second. Von's day one's been riding heavy, calling out names and letting it be known that the war didn't end.
Compare this to the Tupac situation, where Pac went and jumped on somebody on a crib that he should have put his hands on, and shortly afterwards they go back and they end up killing him. Do you see comparisons to your situation and what happened to Pac?
Yeah, not 100%, but peace.
But this time, they didn't just handle it low-key. They took it straight to IG Live and aired it out for the whole world to see. No holding back. From Lil Durk throwing shots at Quando Rondo to Von's tightest homies stepping out and making real moves, it's been all-out chaos in the name of revenge. And in this video, we're breaking down exactly how they've been going after payback. Let's rewind it. The night of King Von's tragic shooting changed everything. Born Davon Daquan Bennett on August 9, 1994, Von came up in Chicago's infamous O Block, a place where survival ain't promised. He stood out fast in the drill scene, co-signed by none other than Lil Durk, and signed to the Only the Family label.
Finally find out that it was King Von who died, how'd you feel?
I was like, damn. If Brian did that stupid last night, his still would have been alive. That's how I was. But I was like, I ain't no the type person I am. Like, I'm a humble person. I ain't no disrespect to like his mama saying him like that.
Von wasn't just rapping, he was painting raw, uncut stories from the trenches. His debut album, Welcome to O Block, dropped just 1 week before he was killed. And it was already taking off, proving he had the streets on lock. But on November 6, 2020, everything flipped. King Von was gunned down. King Von was fatally shot right outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta during a wild face-off between his crew and people tied to rapper Quando Rondo. What kicked off as just words being thrown around turned ugly fast. Fists flew, and then bullets started flying in the parking lot. According to the footage that lit up the internet, Von was the first one to swing on Quando Rondo. That's when Timothy Leaks, one of Quando's close guys, allegedly pulled out and started letting off shots. It was chaos. 6 people got hit in the shootout, including Von and 2 others who didn't survive. Right after the news broke, social media exploded. Fans were freaking out, praying for updates on Von's condition. At first, nobody could even tell if he got hit by the police or someone else.
And my girl woke me up and told me like, "Yo, homie just got killed." I was like, "What you mean? Who?" She was like, "Von." And then I got on the internet and I seen everything. I was just like, damn. I was f***ed up.
But the Atlanta police later cleared things up. Von was shot during the fight between the 2 squads before the cops even made it to the scene. Then came the heartbreaking aftermath. Lil Reese was one of the first to find out Von didn't make it. And the pain was real. But the moment that hit the hardest, when Lil Durk, Von's brother in music and real life, found out while he was live on Instagram. Fans were flooding the comments, breaking the news to him right there in real time. It was tragic. As soon as fans started commenting that Von got shot, Lil Durk cut the IG live instantly. That raw, heartbreaking moment went viral, and the whole rap world felt the pain hit all at once. The shockwaves were unreal. Not long after, Durk poured his heart out in a tribute, typing, "My twin gone."
It's past fair. It's kind of crazy, right? Like It's the same scenario, and Von is like the same type of artist, same type of guy. Like it's just saying God must have had a plan, and the plan got to be probably bigger than we all know it is, because it's crazy how that scenario kind of.
"I love you, baby bro." Then he vanished. Durk deactivated his Instagram and went ghost for months. The bond between King Von and Lil Durk was deeper than any music collab or business deal. This was real loyalty. Even though they weren't blood, Durk always called Von his baby bro or twin. That connection, built in the trenches of O-Block, forged through years of struggle and survival. Durk signed Von to OTF in 2018, right after Von touched down from a 3.5-year bid. From that point on, Durk took Von under his wing and helped him rise up. Not just in the streets, but in the industry. With Durk backing him, Von came in swinging with Crazy Story, a track that made serious noise and hit number 81 on the Billboard Hot 100. His storytelling was raw, vivid, and real. No cap, just facts. Tracks like Crazy Story 2.0 and All These N showed just how strong their chemistry was. These weren't just songs, they were street anthems and proof of a real-life brotherhood that ran deep. But to understand why things got so deadly, you got to look at the deeper beef that was bubbling up. This shootout with Quando Rondo's crew. It wasn't random. The tension had been building for a while, and it finally exploded. The beef was already bubbling. Even before that night, the streets and social media were hinting that King Von and Quando Rondo had serious tension brewing. And it wasn't just between them. Many believed it all tied back to NBA Youngboy, since Quando was part of Youngboy's Never Broke Again crew. And let's be real, there had been low-key drama simmering between Lil Durk's OTF camp and NBA's squad for a minute. So when that fatal night went down, some saw it as a ticking time bomb finally blowing up. Later, Quando Rondo tried to clear the air in an interview, saying things escalated when Von's crew came at them aggressive, and that he got hit first, so his team reacted out of pure self-defense. He even said it felt like an out-of-body experience, claiming they didn't expect a fight that night. But then the surveillance footage dropped, and it told a different story. That video showed Von swinging first, throwing hands at Quando before the gunfire erupted. Now the question of who really started it got messy fast. After the smoke cleared, Timothy Leaks, aka Lul Tim, was arrested and hit with a felony murder charge for Von's death. And even though murder usually doesn't come with bail in Georgia, Lul Tim's lawyer worked the system and got him a $100,000 bond. By March 27, 2021, he was out, with just an ankle monitor. That move had people heated. Von's fans were furious, and his ex, Asian Doll, went off on social media, blasting the system for letting him walk. She said what a lot of folks were thinking: this ain't justice. Then came the twist that nobody saw coming. In August 2023, the felony murder charge against Lul Tim got dropped, before the case even touched trial. His attorney confirmed that prosecutors walked away, saying they believed it looked like self-defense. A legal expert broke it down real clear. Just because the charges were dropped doesn't mean Tim was found innocent. It just meant there wasn't enough solid proof to lock him up beyond a reasonable doubt. Still, the whole situation sparked major outrage in the culture. Asian Doll jumped online with a now-deleted tweet claiming, "The police said Tim ain't kill him, the police did." No facts ever backed that up, but the internet ran wild with it anyway. To make things even messier, Lul Tim dropped a track called Leonte right after the case got tossed. In the song, he flexed about beating the charge, and fans of Von saw it as pure disrespect. It was like throwing salt in an open wound, And it only made things worse. Von's death left a huge hole in Chicago's drill scene. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a voice for the streets, and when he got taken out, it set off a never-ending chain of get back and revenge. The violence didn't stop that night in Atlanta. It kept echoing, in the streets, in the courts, and in the lives of everyone tied to this deadly beef. In a 2021 interview, Von's former manager, Track, opened up about how Von's death reminded him of Tupac's, another young legend, taken too soon, caught in a war way bigger than just music. The comparison between Von and Tupac hits hard, and for good reason. Both were rising icons, keeping it all the way real in their music and in life. And both were gunned down right after throwing hands, street fights that turned deadly in seconds. But King Von's story didn't end the night he died, or when Lul Tim's charges got dropped. In fact, that was just the start of a dark, violent aftermath. Over the months and years that followed, rumors of get-back moves started surfacing, and social media became the main place where fans and bloggers tracked every step of this unfolding war. Everything from sneak disses to full-on shootouts, including what some believed was a murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo. Von's death crushed his closest brother in the game, Lil Durk. When Durk dropped his album The Voice in December 2020, the pain was all over it. The cover had both of them on it, with the words "Long Live Grandson," Von's nickname. That project wasn't just music, it was grief on wax, a final goodbye to his twin. But behind the bars and beats, things were getting real. Whispers turned to full-on speculation that plans for revenge were in motion. For a while, things were tense, but quiet. Then in August 2022, it all exploded again. Quando Rondo got ambushed in a shooting at a gas station in Los Angeles, and his cousin, Savion Lul Pab Robinson, didn't make it out alive. That hit sent shockwaves. It looked like the cycle of violence that started with Von's death was far from over, and now it was catching more lives in its storm. At first, nobody could say for sure if that LA gas station hit was linked to Von's death. But then, in October 2024, the feds dropped a bombshell, and the whole picture shifted. Federal charges came down hard, and they were wild. According to the indictment, 5 men from Chicago, Caven London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston, got hit with serious charges. Conspiracy to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and use of a machine gun in a violent crime that led to death. Yeah, it was that deep. The feds claimed these guys were tied to the 2022 shooting that killed Lul Pab, Quando Rondo's cousin. And the motive? That's where things got even crazier. The indictment laid out a story straight out of a movie. It said the whole hit was retaliation, because Rondo was allegedly tied to Von's 2020 death. But that's not all. The court docs dropped an explosive claim. An unnamed co-conspirator, who many believe to be Lil Durk, allegedly offered both cash and a shot at big music opportunities with OTF to whoever would take Rondo out. According to prosecutors, this wasn't no sloppy street hit, it was a calculated operation. Once they found out Rondo was holed up at a hotel in LA, Wilson allegedly recruited Jones, Lindsay, and Houston to fly out from Chicago to Cali. Meanwhile, Grant pulled up from Miami, on a private jet no less, and came through with the heat, including one burner modified to go full auto. This wasn't just street beef anymore, it was turning into something way more organized and deadly. The crew didn't just slide reckless, they moved like a whole operation. They used a rented white BMW sedan and a white Infiniti with fake plates to hunt down and shoot at Quando Rondo. But what really blew people's minds was just how detailed and well-funded the whole setup allegedly was. According to the feds, plane tickets and rental cars were all paid for using credit cards tied to OTF. Yeah, that OTF. After the hit, the squad reportedly slid over to a burger joint to discuss payments. Later, Jones and Lindsay allegedly got cashed out for playing their parts. But things got even crazier when, in October 2024, Lil Durk himself got arrested near Miami International Airport, hit with a conspiracy to commit murder for hire charge. That's when everything exploded. An FBI affidavit claimed that unnamed witnesses said Dirk had put a bag on Rondo's head after Von's death. Now, while Dirk wasn't officially listed in the indictment as the one who made the offer, the pieces started adding up, fast. The use of OTF-connected credit cards and his role as the head of the crew had a lot of people pointing fingers in his direction. Dirk's camp came out swinging, though, denying everything. His lawyers said the grand jury got misled, and there's zero hard evidence tying him directly to the plot. The trial was supposed to kick off on January 7, 2025, but with how deep this case runs, it got pushed to October 2025. The feds said they're sitting on over 230 gigs of digital evidence and more than 20,000 pages of files. And just to be clear, this ain't the only legal mess tied to Von's death and the fallout that followed. The deeper you go, the darker it gets. In another shocking twist, October 2024 brought even more drama to the surface, this time involving the estate of FBG Duck. The Chicago rapper, who was killed in August 2020, is now at the center of a major lawsuit filed against King Von's estate, Lil Durk, and OTF Records. The claim? That Von allegedly put a $50,000 to $100,000 bounty on Duck's head, tying OTF to a pattern of hits that looked way more like coordinated street warfare than random beef. If these accusations hold up, they paint a disturbing picture of how deep things really go in the drill world, where rap, gang ties, and street codes all blur together in deadly ways. It's not just about bars or clout anymore, it's about real-life consequences with legal heat. But now, let's shift the focus to another dark layer of this saga, how Instagram Live has become a front-row seat to violence in hip-hop. It's not just where artists talk to fans, it's become a place where some of the most chilling moments have played out in real time. Like we mentioned earlier, Lil Durk was on IG Live when fans broke the news about Von getting shot, a moment that went viral and left people shaken. But there have been even more direct, horrifying examples. One of the most haunting happened in July 2021, when LA rapper Indian Red Boy, real name Deon Rivera, was fatally shot while streaming live from his car. He was mid-convo with influencer Capone when an unknown shooter rolled up and fired off at least 12 shots. The stream captured it all. Rivera struggling to speak, gasping for help, and then going still. It was raw, real, and tragic. The kind of moment you never forget. Another jaw-dropping moment on Instagram Live happened in November 2020, this time involving Alabama rapper Honeycomb Brazy. While flexing outside a barbershop in a Kobe Bryant jersey, Brazy was suddenly ambushed midstream. His ops pulled up and unloaded, hitting him 8 times right there on camera. Unlike Indian Red Boy, Brazy survived, but just barely. He slipped into a coma for a week, and doctors feared he'd never walk again. But against the odds, he pulled through. The whole thing added to the growing list of violent incidents playing out live in front of fans, turning IG into a digital battlefield. But it doesn't stop with ambushes. Instagram Live has also been used to taunt rivals and keep tensions boiling. After Von's death, OTF affiliates were constantly on the platform, some paying tribute, others throwing blame, and even vowing revenge. It wasn't just mourning. It was gasoline on an already burning fire. This creates a dangerous cycle, where gang beefs get amplified online, leading to more violence in the streets, which then ends up back on social media. And the loop just keeps going. One Twitter user summed it up perfectly. Von's death, and everything that came after, shows just how deep this cycle runs. A cycle of chaos that's taken way too many lives in the hip-hop world. And when Lil Tim finally broke his silence in an interview about that night with King Von, he gave his version of what led up to the shooting. He even spoke on people comparing Von's death to Tupac's. Here's what Lil Tim had to say. Beyond the viral Instagram Live moments, there's a much deeper and darker layer to all of this. The violent backdrop of the Chicago drill scene that King Von came up in. This genre, known for its unfiltered lyrics about gang life and survival in the trenches, has long been under fire for glorifying violence and possibly pushing street beef into real-life bloodshed. King Von wasn't just rapping about the streets. Many believe he lived what he spoke. Before blowing up, Von was allegedly connected to multiple bodies. though he was never convicted of any. The most explosive claim came from the controversial documentary King Von, Rap's First Serial Killer by Trap Law Ross, which alleged Von was tied to up to 10 bodies, including the 2014 death of 17-year-old female gang member Gakira K.I. Barnes. That doc shook the internet, but also sparked major backlash. Von's family and fans blasted it for being sensational and full of questionable facts. It got pulled from YouTube shortly after going viral. Still, the fire didn't die down. Chicago police docs, unsealed years after K.I.'s murder, actually listed Von as a suspect. But no charges ever came due to lack of solid evidence. And the madness didn't stop there. Right after Von's death, 2020 saw another disturbing moment. Unauthorized autopsy photos of Von leaked online. Fans were stunned and furious. His sister, Kayla B., went off, demanding that the mortician who leaked the images be fired on the spot. The disrespect was next level. That leak wasn't just a privacy violation. It opened the door to wild conspiracy theories, with people online pushing unproven claims about betrayal and cover-ups in Von's final moments. Even in death, the chaos around Von refused to rest. The conspiracy theories only grew stronger after the autopsy report dropped, not because of what it revealed, but because of what it didn't. It confirmed Von took multiple gunshots, but there was no detailed ballistic breakdown. That missing info left room for all kinds of speculation. And in drill rap, where keeping it real is everything, the line between lyrics and real life gets dangerously blurry. What starts as music can spiral into something lethal, fast. But Von's story isn't just about one artist or one tragedy. It's a spotlight on deeper issues haunting the hip-hop world. His death, and everything that came after, exposed the non-stop cycle of retaliation that fuels the drill scene. One hit leads to another and another. And suddenly, it's not music anymore, it's war. One Twitter user said it best: from Von's death to the alleged murder-for-hire plot, it's just been a cycle of chaos, a loop that's already stolen too many young, talented lives. And then came a powerful moment that resurfaced in 2024. In a clip from a 2022 episode of $1 Million Worth of Game, co-host Wallow gave an emotional plea to Lil Durk, begging him not to seek revenge for Von's death. Wallow shared how he forgave the man who killed his own brother, urging Durk to break the pattern instead of feeding it. That moment hit the internet hard. It went viral, with fans praising Wallow for speaking truth in a scene drowning in grief and loss. But with the later federal charges against Durk coming to light, that message took on an even heavier meaning. Looks like Lil Durk didn't take Wallow's advice, and that gives the moment an even deeper weight. What could have been a turning point ended up feeling like a missed chance to break the cycle. And let's be real, none of this plays out in silence. Social media, especially Instagram Live, has completely changed the way these beefs unfold. What used to stay in the streets now gets broadcast live to thousands, sometimes millions of people, in real time. Private drama turns into public spectacle. One video, one live stream, one post, and suddenly, a personal feud becomes viral content. Disrespect spreads fast, and the pressure to respond or look weak pushes things to dangerous extremes. In some cases, that pressure turns into real bullets. The deaths of rappers like King Von, Indian Red Boy, and others, and the IG Live footage that captured some of those moments, raise major questions about these platforms. Social media sites claim to have policies against violence, but when it's live, it's a whole different game. By the time they flag or delete a stream, it's already too late. The clip's been recorded, reposted, and spread everywhere. But this isn't just about individual tragedies. The ripple effects hit entire communities, especially places like Chicago's O Block, where people already face deep-rooted struggles. On Twitter and in pieces from outlets like the Chicago Sun-Times, Von's death has been framed within the harsh reality of systemic poverty, gang entrenchment, and a cycle that's been spinning for decades. King Von wasn't just a rapper, he was a symbol of that environment. And his story shows how fast the line between fame and fatality can vanish. All of these elements combine to create a world where violence doesn't just happen. It's often normalized, even praised, especially in drill music. This genre lives in a complicated space. On one hand, it's given rappers like King Von a way out, a chance to turn raw pain into profit and escape poverty through their talent. But there's a dark flip side. In drill, staying authentic and keeping it a buck comes with pressure. That need to prove you're really about what you rap can pull artists back into dangerous situations or stop them from walking away for good. King Von's music is the perfect example of that contradiction. Songs like Crazy Story showed off his top-tier storytelling skills, painting wild, vivid scenes from the streets. But those same tracks also sparked controversy for their graphic detail. Some fans and critics believe Von was referencing real bodies in his lyrics, even though Von said his songs were just stories based on the environment he grew up in. That opens up tough questions. Where do we draw the line between raw, real expression and glorifying the very violence that's destroying communities? And how should fans and the industry treat music that might be rooted in real-life bloodshed? Legally, the fallout isn't over either. The federal murder-for-hire charges against Lil Durk and 5 Chicago associates show one thing loud and clear. Authorities are watching rap collectives closely now. What used to stay in the streets is now under a federal spotlight, and the way the justice system handles cases like this could shift the entire rap game. What happens next could change everything. With Lil Durk's trial now set for October 2025, artists across the game are watching closely. The outcome could shift how rappers navigate both their careers and their public image, especially when the line between lyrics and legal evidence gets blurred. Durk's legal team is pushing back hard. They claim the prosecutors twisted facts and misled the grand jury, pointing to a song Durk recorded months before the shooting and arguing it had nothing to do with the incident. That leads to one of the biggest debates in hip-hop right now. Should rap lyrics be used as evidence in court? Many artists and legal experts say no, calling it a violation of artistic freedom and a dangerous road that targets black creatives in particular. Whatever the court decides, this case could set major legal precedents for how law enforcement handles hip-hop going forward, with big consequences for artists, labels, and the industry as a whole. As for Quando Rondo, the fallout from King Von's death has been heavy too. Even though he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger, Von's fans and crew have kept him in the crosshairs. The hate online has been non-stop. In a 2024 sit-down with No Jumper, Quando shrugged it off, saying the backlash doesn't matter to his core fanbase. He's kept dropping music and trying to handle his other problems, including a separate federal drug case. But for the people who truly knew Von, the pain still runs deep. His former girlfriend, Asian Darbrat, regularly posts tributes online, and his sister, Kayla B, has made it her mission to protect his legacy and keep his name alive, no matter how messy things get. Protecting King Von's memory became even more important after the leaked autopsy photo scandal, a moment that crossed every line of respect. Lil Reese, one of Von's closest people in the game, spoke about the loss in an interview with DJ Vlad, opening up about how deep it hit him. Von was just getting started. His debut album, Welcome to O Block, peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 200, and later went platinum. That wasn't just hype, that was real numbers, real talent, and real potential. Even after his death, the music didn't stop. His posthumous album, What It Means to Be King, dropped in March 2022 and racked up huge success, proving fans still connected with Von's voice, his pain, and his story. It all leaves one heavy question hanging. What if he had lived? But Von's impact isn't just about his crew or his city. His death became part of a much larger conversation, one that keeps growing with every life lost in hip-hop. He now stands alongside names like Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, and XXXTentacion, all young stars gone too soon, victims of violence that started from beefs, disses, or digital drama. Some in the industry have taken those losses as a wake-up call, pushing for peace, trying to break the cycle. Others still stick to that raw drill code, walking the razor's edge between staying real and staying alive. Chicago's drill scene keeps giving birth to new talent, but for every come-up, there's a reminder. King Von's story is always there, casting a long, dark shadow, and it's a reminder of how fast a dream can turn deadly. Fan reactions to everything that went down with King Von and Quando Rondo have exposed deep divides within the hip-hop world, especially on platforms like Reddit, where debates have been non-stop. On threads across the R-Chiraiology subreddit, people are split. Some understand Quando's side, saying the beef spiraled way out of control, while others argue Von's actions made sense based on street code. These convos dig into something much bigger than just two rappers clashing. They touch on heavy topics like loyalty, retaliation, and survival in a world where violence is seen as part of the rules. One debate that kept coming up was the idea of crashing out. Reddit users clashed over whether Von's decision to confront Quando in Atlanta, territory seen as more neutral but closer to Quando's circle, was a fatal move. One user said it straight: he rocked solo without telling his people. Bro crashed out that day and paid the price. That view challenges the idea of Von being a pure victim, suggesting his choices that night helped set the stage for what happened. But others pushed back, saying what we all saw online was just the tip of the iceberg. As one commenter put it, "This ran deeper in the streets than it did on the net. That's why blood was spilled." And that's the truth a lot of people miss. What plays out on Instagram or in headlines is only a piece of the puzzle. The real stories, the deep-rooted beefs and the motivations, most of that never sees the light of day. Until it's too late. The rise of violence being streamed on social media isn't slowing down, even as platforms roll out new rules and features to shut it down. But here's the problem. Once something goes live, it's out there. People record it, repost it, remix it, and no platform can ever fully control that. The damage is already done. For artists coming out of tough environments like Chicago's O Block, the road to success is full of traps. In drill, authenticity is everything. Fans want the real, not the watered-down version. But that same authenticity can pull rappers right back into the streets, even as their careers give them the chance to leave it all behind. King Von's journey showed exactly how dangerous that balance can be. From surviving the trenches to becoming one of the hottest names in rap, and then getting caught up in a fatal street conflict, his rise and fall is a warning. Some rappers manage to break free while keeping their image solid. Others, like Von, end up stuck between fame and the forces that shape them. That's why we gotta ask, where's the real support for artists from places like this? Do labels, managers, and the industry truly care, or just cash the checks until it's too late? And if the federal allegations are true, that money and promises of success were used to fuel a murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo, then we're looking at a dangerous mix of the music biz and criminal enterprise. That puts everyone in the crossfire, not just the rappers, but their teams, their fans, their families. Lil Durk's upcoming trial in October 2025 might close the legal side of this chapter. But the cultural shockwaves, the pain, the fallout, that'll be felt for a long time. Because behind all the headlines, live streams, and courtroom drama are real people. Real lives, some lost, some forever changed. If this deep dive hit you, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Share this video if you know someone who needs to hear the real story. And we'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe out there.